According to this book, there's 467 record stores in Japan, and Tokyo has half of them. And the lion's share of that lion's share is probably Disc Union. There are areas with a lot of independent record stores. For example, Shinjuku, the area that I'm going to be discussing, it's got 30 record stores, and I went to an area called Nishi Shinjuku, or West Shinjuku, which had 13 record stores of that 30, and they were all independently owned. They were single owner, family owned. Some opened 30 years ago, some opened 20 years ago, and they're the same people running those stores, which I really found fantastic, charming. That's my jam right there. I love small business and I love the stories, and that's what this video is going to be about. And I'm going to start to call these a reporter's notebook, because what I did with my Tower Records video is I showed the store in as an unbiased fashion as I could. And what I'm going to do, some of these stores is not my taste, but I'll try to put them in the most fair light so that you can get an understanding of what I'm seeing here. The book is loaded with maps, and in Nishi Shinjuku, those 13 stores are within walking distance, I'd say, within 15 minutes of one another, some just a few minutes of each other. But you could walk it in 15 minutes, and it's a leisurely, you could see all the stores in an afternoon. You could probably walk over to Shinjuku Station and see the remaining 17 stores, of which I'd say 90% are Disc Union. That would take you a bit of time, but you could do it. My first stop was a record store called HAL'S, which is only jazz. And what was interesting about HAL'S, and what was interesting about many of these other stores, is that they occupy a single room. And the owner has a desk or a counter they've set up, and it's all display, all bins. In the case of HAL'S, it was beautifully displayed. Dark blue walls, all used records, carefully curated. And from the record map, here's something that the owner wrote, I guess, in his submission to the book. He said, my hobby as a collector of out-of-print jazz music grew, so I became a record store. Historically valuable records related to jazz are handled as master records. His is a store specializing in out-of-print jazz records, the store celebrated its 20th anniversary in 2020. Perhaps because the owner travels all over the world to buy hard bop, swing jazz, and club jazz records, he sells a wide range of music from overseas, Brazilian vocals, and also focuses on free jazz. Each record includes comments to help guide a customer towards their selection. They have many original editions, from inexpensive items to expensive items to ultra-rare collector's items. And they had records there, I have pictures of them, for 220,000 yen for each, 120,000 yen each. And HAL'S also had some dollar boxes outside the door when you walk in. Really charming. The owner wasn't there, his wife was there, and she was really kind to me. The store is run by a couple and their son, and before the pandemic hit, they were going back and forth to Europe, I assume to do record fairs or to buy records. And if you're a jazz fan, you definitely have to visit HAL'S in Nishi Shinjuku. 90% of their records are used, and they have an inventory of around 5,000 according to their bio in Record Map. The next store that I went to is called the Perfect Circle, and that was opened up in 1991. It's a Beatles specialty store that mainly carries analog items as well as Beatles, members' solo items, Apple artist items. They carry not only LPs with OB in UK original editions, but also international editions, records with photos, various domestic editions, domestic CDs by John, Paul, George, Ringo, and Yoko. They've got books, flyers, ephemera, and he publishes a mail order list of all new records. He publishes that twice a year if you request it via email. I took some photos. He had John and Yoko's two versions. He had, amongst other things, the Beatles' White Album in mono, and another mono record that he would not let me take a photo of, and probably just for purely competitive reasons. So that's it, the Perfect Circle Beatles. After Perfect Circle, I walked over to a store, Shinjuku Anchor Records, and unfortunately they were closed. I don't know if their closure was temporary today. Their inventory is 5,000 to 10,000 items. They have a warehouse of 15,000. It's generally used items. They have domestic, meaning Japanese, and they have some imports. They have CDs. The description of the store is original rock, jazz, soul, and Japanese city pop music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They have original vinyl records and mono records. The owner is particular about 7-inch singles in good condition with domestic discs, 80s disco singles, and original 7-inch records by the Beatles, Monkees, Beach Boys, and James Brown. They have Japanese releases mainly featuring city mellow pop, including Minako Yoshida, Tatsuro Yamashita Family, and Happy End. And inside the store, you can listen to the mono version of 70s records, and they'll also give customers detailed instructions on how to purchase cartridges from the 70s. They sell vintage goods, music-related goods, and posters. So it's a shame they were closed yesterday, and I'll try to go back and see what they have to offer. I walked over to Record City and Dub Store, and Dub Store owns Record City. They're located next door to each other. Dub Store Record Mart is reggae and black music. They consider themselves a reggae department store, and they carry everything from the origins of Jamaican music, 50s mento and calypso, 60s ska, rock steady, 70s reggae, dub, and 80s. They're a reggae and black music specialty store that carries everything from dancehall music to the latest new releases. The lineup includes everything from dance scene and its Japanese and UK roots music, as well as CDs, DVDs, and books. They are the Japanese agent for the long-established Jamaican record label Studio One. Next door was Record City. Record City's got its own website. It's very foreigner-friendly. It's very well written in English. They have a warehouse of 150,000 records of all genres, including rock, jazz, soul, pop, anime, dance music, world music, and more, from rare records to regular records and rare records. They buy not only used records, but also CDs, 78s, cassettes, VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray discs, audio equipment. I think that's it. I'm standing there at Dub Store, and two Japanese gentlemen walk up, and they're disappointed. Dub Store is closed, and we share our dissatisfaction because there was no advance notice, and we struck up a conversation. And one fellow lived and worked in Brooklyn for 5 years, and his friend has traveled to San Francisco around 10 times in his lifetime. The older fellow, the San Francisco fellow, he collects reggae, and the younger fellow collects black, soul, funk, and hip hop. And as I describe my projects, making YouTube videos and exploring unique stores, they expressed to me that they'd never been to half these stores that I listed in the map, because I showed them the record store map for Nishi Shinjuku. So they volunteered to come along with me, which was a really good thing. We backtracked to the building where Garden Shed is. And in that building is Garden Shed, Shame Records, and Eurasia. Now, I covered Garden Shed in a previous video, that's here, and I did not visit Eurasia Records. I'm going to give you a brief description of Eurasia. Record Store Eurasia has an inventory of around 30,000 items. It's 100% used items, all analog, of course. They've been focusing on LPs since 2000. The mainstay is European rare records from the 60s to the 80s, such as progressive rock, psychedelic, avant-garde, rare groove, singer type, rare electro, German new wave, Brazilian, and rare Asian music from European countries and Central and South America. They have an email magazine on the website that people can subscribe to, and that's Eurasia. Also, in the building was Shame Records, and this is a store that was closed when I was at Garden Shed. I took a photo of the exterior, and I was glad to go. Shame Records is a tiny, tiny store. I mean, this was the densest store of records I've ever been in my entire life. When the three of us were in the store, we felt crowded. So it was the three of us and the owner. And my new friends went through the records as I kind of chatted with the owner. I was inquiring on a record called The Topics on behalf of a friend of mine. And I was also interested in Willie Hutch, which he did not have. And he, of course, referred me to Disc Union for The Topics. Shame Records, according to my friends afterwards, is all repress. And I wasn't aware of that. According to Shame, we deal with all genres, but we especially focus on black music, such as soul from the 50s, R&B, 60s soul, 70s funk, 80s disco, 90s hip-hop. They have a wide selection of items that can be enjoyed in a variety of ways, from masterpieces to DJ use, and he buys used records. So, really nice guy. He claims up to 50,000 records in the store, and if you're into jazz, you would go to HAL'S. If you were into black music, American and British, from the 60s, 70s, and 90s, if you didn't go to Shame, you'd be missing out. You'd cover it well at Disc Union and other stores, but you'd want to go to Shame just to be sure. So that's how I'm offering that information about Shame. We went to vinyl, and I've been to vinyl once before. Vinyl was a big deal back in the day. Nishi Shinjuku was a big deal back in the day. Vinyl opened 30 years ago. It's all original presses, and it's 90% UK punk. Vinyl is a store. There's photographs of Jimmy Page shopping at. Henry Rollins has shopped there many times. Henry Rollins mentions the owners in a blog posting, and it's a husband and wife team. They opened the shop 30 years ago. He was not there. She's really charming and nice to me. She showed me posters of how they promoted the New York band Television in Japan. I think they promoted a documentary, and also a documentary about Richard Hell in Japan. Back to vinyl. I'll give you a description of the store. 50,000 records. I believe it. They don't sell online. Their characteristics are old, new wave punk, garage, pub rock, rockabilly, psychobilly. They have old British music newspapers. They're famous for inviting overseas artists and bands to perform in Japan. I think that's wonderful. So they act as ambassadors for Japan. I really want to meet the owner. I've seen pictures of them with the bands, helping them, chaperoning them, and they post ticket information for the artists' performances on their Facebook and Instagram pages. So, I mean, what could be any nicer than that? They're ambassadors, bringing American and British groups here, and I know I know the artists just adore them because I've seen on Instagram the photos of the bands in vans, just, just all stress free, right? After Shame, we walked to a place called Red Ring. That is it's a smaller store again, same size, has the Perfect Circle. He has 5,000 to 10,000 items, and it is mostly it's rock and roll. It's featuring rock and roll. He focuses on 60s and 70s rock and hard rock, wide range of records in the shop. And what I bought there was a record I've been looking for a while. It's this John Baldry, Good to Be Alive. It is a UK pressing. It was 2,800 yen. It is in VG Plus condition. And he had another copy there, a Japanese pressing, for 9,800 yen with the OB, which was just too rich for my blood, and I didn't make a move on it. So, the stores that I missed in Nishi Shinjuku, and which I need to go back to, are as follows. Orange Street, which is Jamaican Records with a great sound system, and they have up to 50,000 items. The store says they're constantly receiving new labels, including labels that they buy through their own channels. They've got a sound system there called Tribe Works Sound System. They were founded in 1990. They're a long-established reggae specialty store. NEdS Records. They're open from 7:30 to 9:30, 2 hours a day. They have irregular hours. NEdS is a real specialty store. They handle underground DIY works from all over the world. They're busy with purchasing operations during the day, so their store sale hours are at night. Their description is they're a store specializing in noise, electronic music, acoustics, avant-garde, experimental music, 70s and 80s new wave, and DIY music. Only artistic works, such as the unusual sounds, stand out. So if you're interested in that, please come and visit us. NEdS Records. I'm sorry I missed it. And the last one, Sawadee Shop. And that is Thai and Laos specialty. They're the only Thai and Lao music specialty store in Japan. And by their own words, while local CD shops in Thailand are closing down year after year, we are stocking both new and old records throughout their networks. They have a website, and I'll try to include that in the description. How many discs do they have? Again, the standard 5 to 10,000 items. These folks probably filled out a questionnaire to get into Record Map. That's why it's just a little bit vague, but it's giving you like a small, medium to large size. I think I covered everything. Again, thank you for watching. I'm Michael. My channel is Ricefield Records. I live in Saitama. I'm around an hour by train from Shibuya, Shinjuku, and I'm going to be focused on record stores for the foreseeable future. And it's something that I like doing. I like sharing that information. I think that small business is fascinating. I think record stores are fascinating. I think ephemera is fascinating. And if you do too, subscribe to my channel. I think you'll like it, and give a like, and that's it. Thank you so much, Ricefield Records, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.